A short film is any film not long enough to be considered a feature film. Although there's not actually any boundaries set in place setting a specification of time to classify a short film, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences defines a short film as an original motion picture that has a running time of 40 minutes or less, including all credits. There are other characteristics and conventions which apply as well as time frame. These include simple narratives, a twist of some kind, very few characters, as well as having a low budget. However, saying this, it is often difficult to attribute conventions to a short film, as each one can vary drastically. Short films are often hybrids, as well as having non-linear and abstract narrative structures. This means that a short film has the capacity to venture outside of the conventions that are usually conformed to by feature films in order to appeal to the mass market, and create something unique. Therefore, it is very difficult to surround short films with concrete conventions when conforming to them may simply be coincidence. My chosen film can easily be identified as a romance. This is indicated through the conventions which I have adhered to. For example, the awkward underdog, the process of winning over the girl, followed by the happy ending. As well as this, I have focused predominantly on close-ups and medium shots, both of which are essential when producing a romance film, as they allow the audience to focus on characters' reactions and emotions. An example of this is within The Vow. As well as camera shot, body language is another method used throughout romance films to represent characters in different lights. In my short film, the rival male is clearly identified through his slightly more aggressive and irritated state as the couple keep getting closer together. This is typical of the antagonist within romance films. There are significant similarities between the shots that I have used within my short films and those that are featured within popular romance films. However, it is not simply a clear-cut romance film. I have included an element of time travel within my short film through the use of an item which transports him back to his childhood so that he can begin again, winning her over from the very start. I thought that this was an idea that would work as a short film, enhancing the storyline, since it had already been so successful within other films such as The Time Traveller's Wife and About Time, both of which were my inspiration of the idea. As well as this, the short films that I really enjoyed watching often included romance within them, such as Seconds, but where I really got the idea to use children from spanned from My Preliminary Task, featuring my younger brother, who worked really well on camera, as well as the first short film I ever watched as research, which was Little Larry. Like my film, it uses children throughout as a representation of older characters, depicting what is eventually revealed to be a romance film. I really enjoyed this film and thought that the innocence of the children used within really worked and complemented the storyline, and I wanted to include this somehow within my short film. The majority of films within the genre of romance adhere to Todorov's narrative theory. This theory suggests that all narratives feature a three-part structure. This structure begins with equilibrium, where everything is balanced. We then reach the second stage, disruption, involving something which has created upset within the balance, resulting in issues. This then develops into resolution, where the plot revolves around attempting to restore the equilibrium until it is reached. The final product of this is a happy ending. Now, most romance films can be applied to exactly this narrative structure, especially the happy ending, and this is something that I have conformed to within my own short film. At the beginning of the film, there is a form of equilibrium. Although not everyone is happy within their lives, there is still a balance, until the boy finds the ring, which is then the disruption. The majority of the film consists of the boy attempting to reach his new equilibrium by winning over the girl, until finally the result is a happy ending for all the characters involved. There are many clear-cut conventions of film posters, which the majority of films conform to. It is rare for a short film to also have a film poster, and therefore the conventions of feature film posters have been researched. A clear convention is a large title, which pulls the focus away from the main image. It is this which creates the identity behind the film, therefore the title needs to be one of the things that connects the film, poster and review all together. As well as this, the poster is supposed to introduce the main characters. When doing research, I found that the majority of romance films feature the main couple in a romantic setting, and this is something that I conformed to within my poster, as I showed the main couple together on screen. This was the case for many of the examples that I looked at, such as The Time Traveller's Wife, About Time and The Vow. However, instead of presenting them in a loving way towards each other, I chose to represent it like it was not as simple as the majority of romance films, directing the characters to be back-to-back, facing away from each other, not looking as if they were in love at all. This is so that I could hint at the other aspect of the plot, time travel. I did this by adding the other version of the couple and their younger selves on screen. This version of the main characters is reflecting a loving attitude towards each other through their body language and holding hands, and as they are faded within the foreground of the poster, you can tell that they are supposed to be the past version of the characters. A film review can vary in its characteristics depending on who has written the piece and where it is featured. The reviews that I have looked at in particular are from the prestigious film magazine Empire. There are many conventions to a review from Empire, one of which I have particularly tried to incorporate is the informal language. An example that I looked at during the research stage was a review for Spy. Within this review, language such as tragic whiff was used, showing the informality of the review. I have attempted to replicate this language within my own work. Some examples include sickening sweetness and tragic transitions. The alliteration is also one feature I used in order to make particular pieces of information memorable, something that is frequently used within Empire. As well as this, the Empire magazines use a frame from the film as the main image. This usually includes the main characters as well as an idea of what genre the film is. Spy appeals to this by taking a section of the film where Melissa McCarthy, the main character, gets stuck in some mud. This shows both the main character as well as the humour within the film. My main image has also appealed to these conventions, showing all of my main characters, the couple who are holding hands and the rival male clenching his fists. The image clearly shows that the film is a romance film, and this is why it is a good frame, fulfilling the purpose. There are also little things that I've appealed to, such as the page numbers, layout, and trademark blue arrow that Empire has on all of its reviews.